Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where after I stopped recording in the last episode, I realized this was actually a little bit wrong, and this is actually the corrected version that we have pasted in here right now. If I just put this back to where it was here. So this here isn't going to work correctly, because if I understand correctly, the way the leap year is calculated, every 4 years is a leap year, but not every 100 years or something along those lines. So if I put this back in here, this is the correct code here. Of course, we need this to be year instead of Y because I just copied this in. But there we go. That's the correct code for determining whether it is in fact a leap year or not. So that should work just fine. And then the only question is, does all of this that we put in the last episode work? Like, this should be our moment class completely complete. And we should be able to, at this point, start implementing the time manager settings. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So first things first, I want to add in the code for the button, but we're also going to need a public void update. I mean, technically, this is just a private void update, right? So just void update. That's fine. So this is where we will do our time incrementing logic, but we'll not do that quite yet because we need to set up what our buttons do. So first things first, let's go for public void on press pause. Okay, we're not going to pass in any parameters here. All this is going to do is say speed equals gamespeed dot paused. That's literally all it's going to do. And then public void on press play. Speed, same thing, equals, not minus, equals gamespeed dot, and this will be playing. Public void on press fast. Speed equals gamespeed dot fast. And then public void on press faster. Speed equals game speed dot faster. No parentheses. There we go. Okay, so now that's not actually technically going to do anything except register what speed we're currently on. But for right now, let's just go ahead and start hooking up these buttons to those functions. So let's go ahead and go into our canvas here, top bar. So this here is the paused button, and I'm going to go ahead and label these. So pause button. This one will be the play button. This one will be the fast button. And this one will be the faster button. There we go. Now the next thing I want to do is actually select all of these buttons, and I want to invert the normal color and the disabled color. So the normal color, we'll go ahead and grab the disabled color for, and bring that down to the 128 alpha that is at. No, 128. There we go. And then the disabled color will just be pure white. Okay. And then we're going to have the pause button start disabled. And now you can see when we press a button, it'll switch over to that. And then we can, in here, we can put in some logic to turn buttons on and off as necessary. That'll come in a little bit, but first I want to set our highlighted color for all of these to actually be a little bit different as well. So let's check this. So we'll place this right here, and then the highlighted color would be the same as the pressed color, but I don't necessarily want that. I just want it to be a little bit brighter. Not fully bright, just a little brighter. But also still 128 alpha. Okay. Let's see how that looks in-game. Now these buttons technically don't do anything yet, but we'll make them do something in just a moment. I just want to check here. Okay. Yeah, that seems good. Excellent. Okay, so on click for the pause button, we probably want to go ahead and run the scripts time manager on press pause. There we go. And the same thing for play. We want to put in scripts. Oh no, we need a function there, and then scripts time manager on press play. And then same thing here. So scripts time manager on press fast. And one more time. Scripts time manager on press faster. Okay, so now those are actually hooked up to these functions, and when we click the button, these functions will be called. So the other thing that we probably want to go ahead and do is have a header here, and this will be time variables, and then a header here, and this will be button references. There we go. And this will be public button, and this button will be the paused button. We will need references to these because we are going to need to be turning on the ability to interact with them, turning on and off that ability. So let's go ahead and run that, and then public button, and this will be play button, and then fast button, and then faster button. And then as far as our time variables here, we can go ahead and say something along the lines of public int paused speed equals 0. Obviously, paused speed would be 0. And then we can have our other speeds be, well, we're emulating this at the minute level, right? So I'm thinking our default speed should be something kind of along the lines of 5-ish seconds per second, or 5-ish minutes per second. So public int, we can always change this later, play speed equals 5, and then public int fast speed equals, and then I'm just going to be doubling it every time. So then public int faster speed equals 20. We'll call that good. We'll see how that feels later on. As far as our time incrementing logic here, this would actually be pretty easy to do. So we could do our we can do our int current speed, and then switch, and this will be speed case paused, nope, case game speed dot paused, and then we're going to need a case game speed dot playing, case game speed dot fast, and case game speed dot faster. We'll also do a default current speed equals 0, so it just defaults to paused. That should never happen, theoretically. So then for paused, current speed equals paused speed, which should probably be 0. And then we're just going to copy all of these, and it just sets that based on the current speed every frame. We can maybe optimize that a little later, but I don't think it's going to cause an issue. So this one would be playing speed. This one would be fast speed. Not faster speed, just fast speed. This one would be faster speed. There we go. So now we have our current speed, and that speed can be changed. And let's just go ahead and do something along the lines of we're going to need a private float here. So private float, and this is going to be this is just going to be our ticks. We'll call that ticks equals 0f. Okay, so with our float here, we're going to say ticks plus equals time.delta time times, and technically we don't need parentheses here, so it's just time.delta time times current speed. So that gets us a per second amount with our delta time to get us a frame rate independent way to determine how long has it been since the last frame, and then we add that amount of time. Easy enough, and then we can just say while ticks is greater than 1, we then say ticks minus minus, and then here we can go ahead and say current time dot minute and increment that. And then the other thing we're going to want to do, and doing this in the time manager is going to be fine, but I'm going to go ahead and change this to UI references, because the other thing we're going to want to do is update this text right here. So we can go ahead and do that really quick. Public text, and this is going to be UI time text, is what I'll call that. And then right down here, I'm just going to say UI time text.text equals, and this is going to be current time.toString. Okay. And that'll update it every time. And we should be able to run at the different speeds. Theoretically. So we start at speed.paused, correct? I believe we do. Let's double check that. We're also going to need to set up a few references here. So our paused button is going to be here. Our play button is going to be here. Our fast button is going to be here. Our faster button is going to be here. And then our UI time text is going to be... Oh, right, it's not a text, technically. This is a it's a TM Pro dot XMesh Pro UGUI, I think, is what it is. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that works. Okay. I can never remember the class names in TextMesh Pro. It's a little bit unfortunate. But let's see how this works. So we should now be able to... Oh, no reference exception. What are we not referencing? UI time.text equals current time.toString. Well, for one thing, we're not initializing current time, so I guess we can do a void start. I'm guessing that's what the issue is. So current time equals new moment. And we'll just set this up to be defaulting, because we didn't actually do that in moment. That's right. So current time dot minute equals 0. Current time dot hour equals 0. And technically we could do this in the constructor. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, actually. I'm going to do that in the constructor. So let's go into moment here. And before our... after our variables, but before our other functions, we'll do public moment. Oh, come on. Yeah. I always forget how to do constructors in C#, but that's it right there. So public moment. So minute equals 0. Hour equals 0. Day equals 1. Month equals month.January. Year equals 2000. That's just what it defaults to when you first construct it. We can always change it. Okay. So was that the thing that was not set to an instance of an object? I suspect it was. Let's check. Stack Overflow exception. And another null reference exception here. Seems weird. Stack overflow exception here. Oh, for sets we need to do a return, right? I'm checking. I think I have the wrong syntax right here. I'm just double checking it. And let's see here. No, this is right. That's weird. So why is this stack overflowing? Besides, this stuff here shouldn't even be called. Seems strange. So line 44 in moment set minute. Yeah. So is it just repeatedly calling this set? Seems like it shouldn't. It definitely seems like it shouldn't be doing that. Let me check here. Why does property set throw stack overflow exception? Oh, we need a private backing field. Yep. Okay, so in that case, we need to go ahead and do private int backing minute. So because we need this, this is going to cause a stack overflow, so we need a private variable to do. So return, instead of return minute, we're going to return backing minute, like so. And then here we're going to say backing minute equals value, and minute will actually just be a reference for backing minute. We're going to do the exact same thing with this. So public int backing hour. And I'm just going to go ahead and put in backing hour here and here. As far as using this class goes, it'll be exactly the same. But private int backing day. Can't believe I forgot about this. Okay. Backing day equals value. And then private month backing month. Same thing here. Realistically, though, we can leave year. And let's see how that goes. Okay, it is compiled, and let's see. That's more like it. Okay. So we are now able, theoretically... Yeah, look at that. Now, obviously, it's not quite working properly. But it's close. So it's returning unknown month for a reason that I don't know. Clearly, it is not coming out as month.January. Seems a bit odd. The other thing is that the hour and the minute needs to be in this format. Actually, just this format. Because I want it to be 01, 02, 03. So let's go ahead and make that quick modification, so that way it looks a bit more like this. As far as the unknown month goes, I'm not sure what's going on quite there yet, but I do actually want to go ahead and in the time manager, which apparently is here, I want to go ahead and say pause button dot interactable equals false. I don't want to be able to press the pause button again. Not because I want to be able to not press it or whatever, but I want to automatically have the colors toggle so that it toggles the color so we can very clearly clearly see what one we're on. But at the same time, we're going to have to make all the other ones actually play, or actually active. So play button dot interactable equals true, and then fast button dot interactable equals true, and faster button dot interactable also equals true. And then I'm just going to copy this block here and paste this to all of the other ones, like so. And all we got to do is just do this. So we want the fast button to be non-interactable here, and then the faster button here. So only one false each time, and it just goes down the list. Now our buttons should work basically exactly as designed. And on the faster speed, we should be able to check to see that this all works up here. We did see that the minute to hour works, but the unknown month that it's returning, I'm not a fan of that. So let's see what's going on with that real quick. In the moment, let's check our get month string. Get month string, and then we pass in our month. You know what it is. I wonder if it's that get our backing month isn't being set. Like, we should probably do our backings here. So backing day equals 1. Backing hour equals 0. Backing minute equals 0. Like that. Okay. Let's see. Yep, now it's January. Excellent. Oh, we need those. We need a raycast block up here. We are in screen space overlay, which is going to be interesting for a raycast block. Normally what I'd do is I would use a, rather than screen space overlay, I would use a screen space camera. But that's going to mess up some of our other code. Can we just do a raycast block on the time BKG? That is set to raycast target. Okay, that's a little unfortunate. Realistically, these shouldn't be set to raycast target. That's gonna slow us down a bit. We can go ahead and turn that all off. Is raycast target a thing here? I don't think it is. So go ahead and not raycast these for now. We don't need any of those raycasting. And then our time layout group, do not raycast that. And then these buttons here we do actually need to raycast, since we need to be able to click on them. So that'll be fine. And then the main question is, if I were to put in, with an overlay, if I were to put in the canvas an empty here, and call it colliders, and add in a box collider. First question is, and actually I don't want this to be, I want this to be a 3D object. I don't want it to have a rect transform, so I'm going to create it out here with a regular transform and put it inside of the canvas. There we go. Place it here. Colliders. And just place it at 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Actually, scale of 1 is fine. And 0. Okay. Add in a box collider. And there's our tiny little box collider. We can edit this collider, though, and make it much, much larger, if necessary. Not necessarily in that direction, obviously. Let's go ahead and just be in back ortho for right now. And I'm just going to increase the X size of this thing to be actually 1920. And then this should be, what, about 40 on the y-axis, and then place this right up here. Now, I don't know if this is going to work if we change things, but I just want to find out if this works at all in screen space overlay. That's my main goal right now. So let's see if that works at all. And the answer is no, it does not. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and run this. So you can see our time is now ticking up as expected. And once it reaches 1 hour, it will tick over to 1 o'clock. There we go. And now let's bump it up to speed 3 here. So it takes about 3 seconds per hour on speed 3. We might adjust the speeds there later on. In fact, we could do it right now for testing purposes. I just want to ensure that the day tick works, and then that the month tick works. So yeah, let's absolutely go ahead and change our faster speed right now, for the purposes of this test, to 60. Okay. So now we're going up at an hour per second. So it'll take close to 30 seconds per day, but I just want to check the day tick right now. There we go. It ticked over to 2 January. Excellent. Now let's bump this up to be about 6 hours per hour. So 360, or 6 hours per second. So that we can test our month tick a little bit faster. This is still going to take a while. I'm going to double that again to 720. There we go. That's obviously way faster than we probably want it to work in-game. But I just want to test this month tick real fast. Let's double it again. 1440. Let's go. Now we're on a day per second. 20, 21, 22. January has 31 days, so once it reaches day 32, it should bump to 1 February. Oh, hello. Okay, so there's clearly a problem with our month tick, because it popped up unknown month of this year. So let's see what's going on there. Actually, it is time for a cut here, so I'm going to go ahead and put a cut in, and next episode we'll see what's going on with our month tick. See you all then.